Hello, everyone. Happy to be back with another Young Indian, part of the Voice of the Youth Young series. Right now, we have with us Sabarika Mani. Let's listen to her. Over to you, Sabarika.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you once again for inviting me to this event. I think this is a wonderful platform for a lot of young people to share their life experiences. I think it's often very rare to find good listeners out there in society. So, this is a wonderful platform where we just get to express our opinions and thoughts. And also, it's a great privilege to be interacting with someone like you with so many years of experience and wisdom. So, thank you so much. Hello everyone. I am Sabarika Mani. I'm pursuing my master's in economics from Delhi School of Economics. I'm in my final year right now. In today's talk, I would like to just start off from my schooling and what were some of my childhood ambitions and how I got into economics and just a few things that I like to do in college and then eventually in masters as well. And also, I'll just probably share a few incidents or anecdotes from my life that I think was very crucial in shaping my personality as well. So to start with, I'm from Chennai, so I'm a South Indian, and I completed my schooling from multiple schools. So my dad used to work in central government, so he got transferred quite a lot during his career. To be precise, I did my schooling from Chennai, my hometown, as well as in Delhi. So I'm in Delhi right now for my master's, but this is not my first time in Delhi. I was here before also for my schooling. So I think this is probably something that is very common to a lot of students, especially for a lot of army kids. But I think this uh, shifting schools and getting to live in different cities is something that really shaped me. Helped me gain a lot of exposure to different cultures, I believe. So as a young kid, I was actually annoyed by it. So I remember like telling my dad that, like every few years you just throw me into this new city, new school where I have to start from scratch, like I have to make friends again. And especially in teenage, it is often very difficult because a lot of students have a lot of insecurities and they are worried about getting stereotypical comments and stuff like that. So especially Chennai and Delhi are like very different in terms of the culture. And so when I initially shifted to Delhi, there was a lot of culture shock that I had to witness, and I was also scared if I would also be a subject of stereotype and stuff like that. So initially that was a lot of struggle, but in retrospect, now that I think of it, I think it was a very fruitful experience for me. So there is often an anecdote in my family that my father shares. So when I was the first time when I was in primary school, I was probably in first or second grade. So I was getting ready for school, and my dad was like tying my shoelace or something, and I started crying. So I was a young kid who didn't like to go to school, and also because I did not understand Hindi. So I had this huge language barrier, and as a young kid, we don't often converse in English or something, right? So Hindi was something that I did not know at that point of time. So at that time, he convinced me. He told me that I'll eventually learn and I'll adapt to it, and I did learn. Like I think at a very young age, it is easy to grasp a new language. So within a year, I was fluent in Hindi. So from then on, I came back to Delhi again for my high school. Now this time, like I already mentioned, I had different fears about how I would, make friends and if I would like all the teenage insecurities and all of that. But I think I fared well. I managed making some really good friends, and I completed my high school also. And now I'm back again for my masters to study in my dream school. So I think over the years, this has been like a huge trajectory of being this young kid who was crying because I didn't understand Hindi to again coming back to Delhi, now being in Delhi University, where I literally have all my batchmates are almost from every state of India. So I think that is one really good thing about Delhi University, that I have a lot of friends from different parts of the country. So now I have uh, I'm not a shy kid anymore. I think I'm confident to make friends, and I get a lot of from their experiences and from their cultures and tradition. I get to learn a lot. So I think that so Delhi as a city and this shifting has been a huge part of my life. So that was just a thing that I wanted to share. And coming to the academic aspect, so I was a commerce student in high school, so I had economics part of as part of my coursework in commerce. So how I ended up choosing commerce, actually in class 10, I had good scores in my board exam. So eventually everybody thought that I would probably want to take science, like the usual stereotype that is often there, especially in South India. So a lot of people in South India usually, if you have good scores, they end up taking engineering or medicine, or even in commerce, a lot of people do chartered accountancy, right? So I think that's a very respectable profession. It has its own demands, but these are often seen as very conventional
Mm.
professions that often people do. Even in my own family, a lot of my cousins, everybody was from conventional educational background. So everybody thought I would probably want to take science because I had good scores in class 10. I came second in my school. So it was a shock to my teachers that I wanted to take commerce.
Mm.
So actually, as a young kid, I wanted to be a doctor. Like for some reason, I think a lot of people have that aspiration. I was a nerd right from a young age. So I remember I used to like Google ki what are the good colleges to do medicine. So I remember coming across AIMS when I was like in probably ninth grade or something like that. So I had all that dream to become a doctor, but I think eventually I understood it probably I was not that interested. I did not know the responsibility that comes with. I thought that I would probably not do enough justice to that profession. So I decided that I probably won't do medicine. And after that, again, engineering was not something that I was particularly interested in. I had a lot of people in my family who were engineers, and I did not find that fascinating. So I thought, why not take commerce? Because economics is a subject that is not often exposed to a lot of school students, at least in India. At a probably in CBSE we had economics as part of social studies. So the first lesson that we had in economics was called like Story of Palampur or something. So that was just about this fictional town, and that is how they thought what is production, like what are goods and services, what is GDP. So these are few things that was taught to us back then. So that was just very basic introduction. I wouldn't even call that anything complex at all. So I liked that. So I thought probably commerce would be a good choice to take. So my family was also supportive. So I ended up taking commerce for high school. So again, when I was doing commerce, out of all the coursework that I had, like accountancy and business studies, etc., I found economics particularly interesting. So that is when we were exposed to micro, macro, statistics, and all of that. So I always enjoyed macroeconomics, and then I slowly started doing some research about what a career out of economics would look like. Again, not a lot of people usually take economics in the south of India, so this is very common. Back in the day, a lot of people consider it as a backup option, like they would actually term it as a backup option, because if you don't get a seat in engineering or medicine, or even BCom for that matter, they would end up taking economics. And also there is this very common perception that it is a dry subject. Like I've heard it from a lot of people, especially from a
Mm.
lot of elderly people, that economics is a dry subject, like it's probably very boring. So that was a very common misconception that was prevailing at that point of time, because I think when it the one of the reasons could also be that a lot of like when I even in D school right now, we have a lot of Bengalis who are part of the batch. So there are a lot of great economists who have come out in the limelight out of say Bengal. So they have a lot of exposure about economics in that area. And in Delhi, of course, because of Delhi University, there is a lot of exposure to economics as such. But like I mentioned, in South, there is a lot of opportunities for science. So not many people are aware of the potential of economics and how that could actually be a rewarding career.
Mm.
So this was all that was there in South. So it was so initially I had to like convince my father also and my family also that taking economics is a good decision, and I was very firm with my decision. Like as an 18-year-old, now that I think of it, I'm very happy that I was very firm and stubborn, that I wanted to do what I like. But also it came with a lot of fear, because I did not have any years of experience, or I did not have a lot of people who had pursued something similar in my family. So it was just a decision that I was taking all by myself. It could turn out well, it could also not turn out well, but in retrospect, I enjoy every day of economics that I study. So I think it turned out well, and I have to see how what it has for me in the future as well. So I think my family and my support system was pretty solid. So because my dad, though initially he was not aware of what economics education would look like, but he firmly believed that it is important to do what one likes, right? So if I ended up taking CA or something, it is a demanding profession in itself. I would probably not be able to clear the exams if I'm not interested in it at all. So he did understand that probably he should like respect my choices, and I would eventually do well in that field. And my sister is also she was 8 years older than me, so she was when I was in middle school itself, she had finished college and everything. So throughout my academic journey, she has always guided me and given me a lot of advice. Though she was also not from economics, so she did not have much knowledge about this particular field, but she definitely knew that giving me this freedom to choose what I want would probably be a good thing to do.
Hmm.
So I ended up doing economics. So I did my bachelor's from Stella Maris College, Chennai. So this college is part of Madras University in Chennai. So I did my bachelor's from there. Um, so that was something about how I got into economics and how I ended up taking that decision. So while I was in college, again, I was also the COVID batch, right? So we were probably like I had almost 1.5 years of my education was online, and the rest was offline. So the first 1.5 years was online. So I think that was a huge problem or disadvantage for a lot of students who started college in 2020, 21, all of that. Because I think college is a very crucial part of everyone's lives, and then we did not get to interact with a lot of people or make that sort of network or connections that is often expected from students to make during college. So that was an issue, but I'm glad that at least I could go to college for 1.5 years. So when I started my economics education in Chennai, of course, I did not really at that point of time think what I would want to do in the future. I just had a few options that I had researched that I could probably do a master's, I could join like government service, or I could probably work at the corporate, or I had a few options, but it was too early to decide anything, right? So I just went on with the flow, and I was just enjoying my coursework there. So my college actually had a very comprehensive curriculum. So it was well structured, and we had a lot of coursework that was not very commonly taught in undergraduation, right? So we had courses like behavioral economics, environmental economics. So these are few topics that are not often taught at the undergraduate level, especially behavioral economics is a very niche topic that has been in the limelight only in the past few years. It is not part of the conventional traditional economics that is often taught. So those were few subjects that I found pretty interesting. And of course, we had the regular development, public eco, international economics, all of that was there. And my college curriculum also gave a lot of emphasis to uh, econometrics and a lot of those data analysis aspects, which is right now in today's world very important. Like data analysis is used almost everywhere. So the college curriculum was pretty solid, and I really liked how we had a wide spectrum of topics, right from all the theoretical end, like from history of economic thought to advanced econometrics. We had a lot of that going on. So it was a pretty good curriculum, and the economics department in my college was also one of the oldest economics departments in the south of India. So we had a lot of my alumni went on to pursue masters from Oxford, LSE, or they would work in World Bank, etc. So it was a very good start. I believe that graduating out of this college would help me gain a lot of uh, would help me get a lot of opportunities in the future. So that is how I started. And while I was in my second year of college, I was in my summer break, I interned with this research institution called Madras Institute of Development Studies. So it was a research institution based out of Chennai. So again, so that was my first time working in the field of research and doing some sort of a research internship. So it was a wonderful experience. I worked there only for a month, but then we were working as part of this survey. So there was this Tamil Nadu household panel survey. So the survey is almost like a census, but just for the state of Tamil Nadu.
Hmm.
So there was a lot of data collection with respect to a lot of socio-economic indicators of Tamil Nadu. like access to water, health, sanitation, education. So there were a lot of like parameters that was taken into consideration, and I had to like do a lot of literature review. I had to, at the end of my internship, I had to like prepare a report. So each of us in our internship were given like a variable that we were dealing with, and we had to see how. So 2011 census, we had that data, and we also had this survey data which happened in 2019. So we had to like compare how the state has performed in terms of those indicators over this span of the decade. So this was at that point was just very basic introduction to probably like research, but then I understood that I enjoyed that. It was a very good experience that I had. So eventually, even in college, I took up a coursework in research where we had to do a project on. So I particularly liked gender economics. I did two projects while I was in college on this topic. So one of it was the intersection of gender economics with behavioral economics. So in my second year, we had to do this minor term paper kind of thing where so that was the term we studied, behavioral economics as well. So there is a lot of taboo in India with respect to menstruation, right? So it is often considered to be a taboo topic in Indian households. So my project was to see if we could make use of behavioral economics biases and all the heuristics that we study in probably tackling this issue of menstrual hygiene and how to create more awareness on that topic. So I just conducted like a primary survey. So I had a Google form where I had a few questions that I prepared, and which I circulated among a lot of women as well as men, because I believe that it is not enough to just educate women about it, because there is often very less awareness about these topics among men in Indian households. So it is very, very important to normalize it, especially among men. So I circulated the form among men and women, and based on the responses, I did my analysis and I completed the report. So I was particularly interested in gender economics, and one of the other projects I did was also the effect of the Sri Lankan war on women. So the Sri Lankan war happened for almost 30 years, which left the country it which led to a lot of destruction in the country, and oftentimes in most of such situations, women have a disproportionate burden of the outcome, right? So I wanted to do an economic analysis, so I took into consideration health, education, and employment factors of women. So over a period of time, how because of the war all of these indicators got affected, and how they if there was there any sign of improvement post
Mhm.
war and stuff like that. So these were some of the projects that I did in college and some topics that I particularly liked. And by the time I came to final year, I realized that I probably want to do a master's in economics, because I want to get into the depth of this subject. Because when I thought of what options I had, like I could do an MBA or masters or law. So I didn't think that I was capable of doing law, because I'm not sure if I had the personality to be a lawyer. But I also realized that MBA would probably not help me get into the depths of this subject that I particularly enjoyed and liked over the 3 years of my undergraduation. So when I wanted to do masters in economics in India, so that is when I started researching. So what are some of the colleges there? ISI, DSC, IGIDR, etc. So one thing it was that a lot of people from my college, they would go abroad to do masters, but not a lot of people came to like say DSC or ISI. So from my undergraduation college. So some of my immediate seniors were mostly applying abroad, but not a lot of them. There were a lot of people who would go to Madras School of Economics, which is in Chennai, but not a lot of people who came to DSC. So because of that, I could not reach out to many seniors about this. I did not have guidance as to how to prepare exams exactly. The thing is that a lot of the exams, the curriculum in asked in these entrance tests was kind of based out of the curriculum that was taught in Delhi University as well. So I needed some sort of a guidance as to how to prepare for these. or what it is like to be studying in such institutions. So because I did not have immediate seniors in these colleges, I think that is when LinkedIn came into picture. So this is like probably a tip that I would like to give to a lot of young students, that when you are in college, I think joining LinkedIn and having a LinkedIn network is very good, because I would often just reach out to many seniors, just randomly text them on LinkedIn if I find that they are from such so and so college, and I would just ping them and ask them, like, how did you prepare for these exams, or what it is like, what is the course curriculum like here. So many times, to my surprise, people would actually reply. So I don't even know them. Like, they're probably someone at some other part of the world, but they would actually take out time to reply. So this way, I think this is a very good connection, and a lot of the research that goes behind choosing colleges for masters is very crucial. Like, this is many times undergraduation, we just choose a college out of the flow, right? You're just still out of school, and you know that probably this is not the end of your life. But then when it comes to masters, I think it is very important as to from where you are doing it. So it is crucial for people to put in some amount of efforts and research behind understanding where to go. And I think LinkedIn, and of course, if you have really good seniors or people who are already in this field, you can often reach out to them. But for me, I feel like LinkedIn played a very important role, because I could talk to a lot of people and I gained some uh, knowledge on those aspects. So I did write a bunch of entrance exams, and I cleared a Madras School of Economics entrance exam. So I was the state topper in Tamil Nadu for that entrance exam. So I ended up joining MSc as well. I was there for 2-3 weeks before DSE results came, and then I moved to Delhi. So MSc was the 2-3 weeks in MSc was also a pretty good experience. I think the curriculum at MSc was also very nice. Back then, I was also like a day scholar. So because I was in Chennai, so I would attend college from home. And then when I got into DSE, I think it was one of the best things that has ever happened in my life, because it's a premier institution to study masters in economics from. So I was very excited. I was mainly excited to also be like, actually doing the adulting, like, living alone first time outside home in the capital of the country, and also getting to study from such a huge college. So I was pretty excited. I think the same time around last year I moved to Delhi. So this is probably just complete. I'm completing 1 year at DSC as well as in Delhi. So I was pretty excited about it, but I was also, of course, very scared, because I have heard a lot about what it is like to survive DSE, right? I got This is a very famous, not famous. This is a very funny thing that was told to me by someone before I joined DSE, that if you can survive DSE, then you can survive anything in life. So DSE prepares you for life, because I truly believe that as well. Post 1 year of experience at DSE, I realized that the rigorousness or the struggle that you put into this course definitely not just gives you a lot of academic knowledge, but it also actually trains you how to survive in a competitive world and what are the hardships out there. So I think that was really apt advice that I got, and I'm sure that that is true as well.
Perfect.
So I came to Delhi last year to join my post graduation here, and actually, so being part of so there is this famous economics wall at DSC. So there's this brick wall outside our department where a lot of people would take photos on their first day and post it on LinkedIn. And I remember when I was still in my final year of UG, I would see a lot of these LinkedIn posts coming up of seniors who have joined DSC. And the day when I could also actually go there and take a photo over there, that was just amazing. Like, just that feeling that you have accomplished something in life, that was an amazing experience.
Mm.
And I think the most amazing thing about being part of this institution is the great great history of the institution. Like just a few weeks back, just 2 weeks back, we celebrated our Diamond Jubilee. So 75 years of DSE, and we had some really great, amazing people coming to the college to deliver lectures. One of them was Professor Kaushik Basu. So he was a faculty at DSE, and he came back to DSE to deliver a talk on game theory. We also had so am I
It's clear. Go ahead.
is the video okay?
It's fine. It's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we also had Professor Geeta Gopinath coming in, and a bunch of other professors, most of whom are DSC alumni. So all of them are people who have completed either their masters from DSC in the 90s, and then they are back right now. They're doing great in their life. A lot of them are chief economists at different institutions, or they are IAS officers, or they are professors at great places. So those 2 days, it was all like goosebumps moments, because just to understand or just to realize that I am also a part of such an institution which has such a great legacy.
Mm.
So that feeling, that was crazy. Like those 2 days where we could get to know about the legacy of DSE was just amazing. So again, to talk about
Yeah,
like how about the
Sabarika,
journey.
let me interrupt you here. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
Professor
sure.
Manmohan Singh was a professor at Delhi School of Economics. Long
Yes,
ago,
yes,
he
sir.
used to
Yes.
teach international economics. I was one of the students in his class. I must say I was not a very diligent student, but
Yes.
he got his first government job while he was still a professor there, and he left in the
Okay,
middle of
right.
the course. But he said, "Look, I'll finish the course, so please come at 8 o'clock before I go to teach to office. I'll come and teach the course." And of course, I mean, for me to go to a class at 8 o'clock was impossible. So I must say I didn't attend his class, but there's nobody perhaps more great than for future Prime Minister of India. He was a professor,
Yes.
and he didn't get his master's degree from DSE, but he was a professor at Delhi School of Economics. So in Delhi, indeed, people associated with that place are have reached uh, great places. All right, let's miss her. Sorry, but I had to tell
Yeah, no
this
problem.
a story of Manmohan
Yes.
Singh. He was
Yes.
really very, very careful not to leave his students in the lurch. The halfway through, he couldn't say, "Look, I'm sorry, I got a job, and now you are on your own." Well, he had morning class and he taught us.
Yes. I
That's
think that's amazing. Yes.
yeah, he
Yes,
did.
sir. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. But yeah, so that was the last 2 weeks back when we attended the Diamond Jubilee event. I think that is what, like, looking back, so we almost, for those 2 days, we forgot about all the struggle that we faced the past 1 year because of the course that we were doing, because it was all worth it. I think that one day it all felt worth it, just to be associated with such an institution. So again, like I said, the past 1 year, the course curriculum here is pretty rigorous. We are taught a bunch of things which is a lot mathematical in nature. But again, like I mentioned, I think it is all about, like, there have been days when we would cry and pull all-nighters and probably like just be worried that why are we here. But again, in retrospect, when I think of it, if you survive that phase or if you survive those few days, I think it is one of the most cherished memories, that when you look back 10 years later, I think we might probably not remember all those all-nighters that we pulled, but probably we'll remember the legacy or the professors who taught us.
Yeah.
That is what is going to be the thing that we'll recollect. So
Yeah.
it has been a great experience so far in Delhi School of Economics. And moving ahead, I would just like to give some like tips to the juniors. Like I already mentioned a bunch of things. I think one of the primary things that you have to always look out for is just follow your passion. Because, like I said, I wanted to do economics despite it being not so conventional coursework that is done often from the place that I come from. I was firm with my decision, and I think it fared out pretty well for me. I'm sure it might work out for a lot of people as well. And do really good research before you get into anything. I think, like I mentioned, there are a lot of sources that you can reach out to, like reach out to your seniors or through LinkedIn, find out what it is that you really want to do. And eventually, all of that research pays really well in the future. And it will take you to a lot of, it will open up a lot of opportunities for you as well. So, those are few things that I would also like to tell to future aspirants, because this is a great place to be at despite all the struggle. Probably in my first semester I would have not given this advice to a lot of people, but now that I think of it, if you can survive the rigorousness of the course, then definitely this is a good place to be.
Okay.
So
All right. Okay.
yeah.
How does your family feel about it now? Do they think that you have arrived, that this is your passion and stubbornness, defying South Indian cultural and societal norms was fine, that you finally arrived? How is it in the family and external?
Yeah, I think they are very, very happy. So the day the last year when I actually got into DSC as well, I think my father, sister, and even my extended family, all of my relatives, they probably did not like know about economics in general. But when they got to know that I've almost joined such a premier institution that is associated with such great people, they were very, very happy. And in retrospect, they are happy that they stood by my decision and let me do what I really wanted to pursue. And I think they truly are proud of me that I ended up joining DSC and I got into DSC as well. So now they have more knowledge about economics. When I go back and tell them that all these great people came to my college, my dad is often proud and tells his friends that my daughter is studying at D school. And a lot of his friends ask him if she's planning to pursue UPSC and everything. So he cherishes this a lot. He goes and tells it to his friends, and he's very happy about what I'm doing right now. So
Okay,
yeah.
great. So you have family support, and of course, you
Hmm.
have a bright future. Anything else you want to add here?
Yes, sir. So I just wanted to like add probably something that I have in mind for my future. That I right now I think it's not the one particular thing that I want to do, but I do feel like I want to do something in the space of impact, like do something that would probably help me apply the knowledge of economics that I've learned all these years. Uh, Help me to create impact or impact the lives of a lot of people. So over the years, whatever I've learned in economics, I don't want that to go into waste, and probably work something towards how this can fundamentally change a lot of issues that are prevailing in society. So this is something that I'm interested to do in the future, and I'm looking for avenues that I could implement that, though I do not have a solid plan as yet. So this is some of the this is my idea for the future. And again, like I mentioned, I also had this advice that I wanted to give to young aspirants. So just follow your passion, and I'm sure you'll do well in life. So
Okay, good.
yes,
So that's great to hear this. Thank you so much, Sabarika. I'm happy to hear all this. And let's end it here
yes,
today,
sir.
shall we?
Yes, sir. Sure. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, good. So let's say bye to the viewers. I'll be back with another young person or an expert soon. Bye till then. Bye, everybody.